Hello and welcome to the first episode of Thresher. Thresher is a homebrewed world using a framework of Candela Obscura and Illuminated Worlds system. I want to say a huge thank you to Matthew Linton and Jacqueline Emerson for letting us use this world. And by us, of course, I mean me, Jasper William Cartwright, and my amazing cast. Hello, everyone. We've got Noshir Jane Douglas, Abubakar Salim, Mark Sherlock Holmes, and Mara, and Jacqueline Emerson! Yay! Wow, this is going to be a very, very special little thing we're doing today. So if everyone is feeling pretty good.
So ready.
Before we get started, I just want to thank our sponsor for tonight's episode, Elder Scrolls Online. And I know that all of you at home are wondering how ads at Critical Role get made. So I thought I would show you how I learned to do it from the master himself. Okay, time for my first lesson.
Congrats on taking step 1 of ad reading the Riegel way. The first lesson in samvertising is energy. Go ahead and read this copy, but give me energy. Go!
Tonight's sponsor is Elder Scrolls Online, a multiplayer role-playing game set in a living fantasy world. Every legend starts somewhere, and in Elder Scrolls Online, it starts with you.
Close, but give me it starts with you, more energy. Go!
It starts with you!
Even more energy. Too much energy!
It starts with you!
Whoa, calm down, pal. Okay, if you're going to be reading ads the Riegel way, you need to get a little bit weird. Read the next piece of copy, but make it weird. Go!
Write your story into a vibrant chapter of Tamaril's distant past that takes place nearly 1,000 years before the iconic Elder Scrolls V. Skyrim.
Even weirder.
And discover a world steeped in adventure and possibility.
Más weird, por favor.
Explore the mushroom forests of Morrowind.
Battle Daedric
foes in the realms of oblivion.
and face off against other players in PvP.
Close enough. Okay, step 3. Now read it as if you were a cat. Don't question it. Just go!
Meow, meow,
Hello,
meow,
I'm
meow, meow,
a cat.
meow,
Discover
meow,
an
meow,
ever-growing world
meow,
with
meow,
friends
meow,
or solo.
meow.
Choose from an array of quests that
Meow,
fit
meow,
your ambitions.
meow, meow,
Grab
meow,
a fishing rod and relax.
meow, meow,
Seek lost
meow,
treasures,
meow.
conquer group dungeons, or craft new armor. Make this Elder Scrolls world your own. Immerse yourself in award-winning storytelling in the same spirit as your favorite Elder Scrolls games. Did I mention I'm a cat?
Now it's time for the Riegel Way final exam. Put it all together. I'll call out the direction and you just roll with it. Ready? Do it loud!
The talented people over at Elder Scrolls Online will be pulling back the curtain for the first time to show off upcoming content to be released in 2025.
Surfer Dude!
The new content in 2025 will take players on a new adventure that's a direct sequel to the original Elder Scrolls Online story.
French Magician Horse!
Travel to the new mysterious island of Solstice, a tropical paradise under the attack by the cult worm. Uncover the secrets of the rising wall, a colossal arcane barrier that divides the island.
Dave Matthews is a sunflower cat in Heat.
What?
Just go!
Join millions of players and start your own Elder Scrolls Online adventure today. Learn more at elderscrollsonline.com/en-us/join us.
And on April 29th at 7 p.m., Critical Role will be running the Elder Scroll Online one-shot with players Matthew Mercer, Laura Bailey, Jasmine Bular, Evan Michael Lee, Luis Carrazzo, and GM'd by Liam O'Brien. Now, for the big finisher, give me that punny toss.
Scroll on back to you at the studio.
Good job. That'll be $600.
Thank you so much, Sam. I learned a lot. It means a lot, and I will continue to take from your teachings. Thank you. So, if we're all about ready, sitting uncomfortably, maybe? Yeah. We can go ahead and get started.
SS France embarks on maiden trend. Today at the World's Fair, Beatles hit the charts with Love Me Do, music's newest sensation. Music on
Tonight, General Dynamics prepares Ranger 3 to photograph the ocean's surface. Experts back.
Jacques Cousteau's Conshelf 1 experiments begin. Humans living beneath ocean waves.
Cuban Missile Crisis deepens. Disturbing whispers.
Operation Fishbowl launches nuclear tests over Pacific waters.
Strange sea creature spotted near sea.
This is Admiral Anders of the Atlantic station Rán-Beor. Systems are failing, the crew is mutinous, and there appears to be something down here with us. I understand that protocol demands that I get as much information off of this station as possible. However, due to the perceived threat to the outside world, I have made the decision to initiate the abyssal lockdown protocol, destroying the station. Dr. Blackwell agrees. 3, 2... Right, crew, listen up. We have a very rare opportunity, thanks to the sharp eyes of a fishing boat that picked up a distress signal from one station, Rán-Beor. A geothermal power station at the bottom of the ocean. This facility has been lost to us for over a decade. But fate, or perhaps something stranger, just joking, has brought Rán-Beor back to our attention. And our generous benefactor has not only financed this expedition, but has uncovered a piece of communication that actually escaped the station. That video of Admiral Anders that you saw earlier. Since this message, there has been no communications with Rán-Beor, and we haven't been able to locate it until now. Your mission is very, very clear. Investigate the Rán-Beor station. We need to ascertain what actually happened and if it can be salvaged, put back into a serviceable status. So, each one of you have been brought here with a unique skill that will help you achieve said mission. To this point that you, all of you find yourself sat in front of these big windows aboard the Thresher. You sit around this dimly lit table. There's lots of gears and wires and things as Captain Atticus is kind of droning on, perhaps a little bit too much, going into illicit detail. You get the feeling that maybe Captain Atticus one day wanted to be a performer and instead ended up doing this. He's really taking the spotlight. As your attention sort of comes back, goes, Emily.
Yes.
You are our leading expert on Atlantic. Been studying all of this for a number of years, and I understand that you actually think that you have some sort of layout or an idea of the layout of this station?
I believe through my research I've put together a couple of papers that could be very useful in this.
So, she'll be indispensable when it comes to navigating the station itself. Then we've got Damon. Damon Adams, you're the muscle of the operation, so if things get hairy down there, which they won't, but if they do, stay close to Damon and you'll be fine.
I got a question. Why we got a cripple with us today?
Well, okay, listen. It's very important that everyone here gets through the mission, okay? And I'll have you know that this is actually Hercule, a renowned explorer. He's done this millions of times.
Ooh. I appreciate the support, Captain Atticus, but I think my work speaks for itself.
It's gonna make me life much harder. Fine.
Fancy gentleman.
I'm sure you'll make do, Damon. Then, Valerie. Valerie has an unparalleled master of those fancy doodads and gadgets that light up and make things...
Val is fine.
Right, okay, sorry. Val, yeah? Val knows the doodads and stuff I don't pretend to know, but I reckon if you're going to get around, probably need some of
If
that.
it's got valves, if it's got a keyboard, I'll get you in.
Okay, right. And, well, last but not least, we have Beatrice. Oh, sorry, did you prefer Betty?
Yeah, Betty or Beatrice. You know, only my mom and dad really call me Beatrice anymore, so Betty's fine. Betty's fine.
Sure.
Hey, hi everyone.
Enchanté.
Well, Beatrice here is the mechanic, so if we're going to get this station back online, I reckon, you know, you're probably going to have something to do with it.
Yeah, I'm not as fancy as Val here with like all the knowledge and stuff, but if it's got sprockets and gears and can be done with some oil grease, I'm your gal.
You'll make him turn. Yeah, nice. So, does anyone have any questions, thoughts, feelings? No? Marvelous, great. And we can get going. No, I'm joking. Does anyone actually have any questions?
I would like to know more about this abyssal protocol.
We don't have any more information on this station. Atlantic, it seems we're pretty secretive about all of that stuff. Literally, all we have to go by is a location and that.
So we don't even know if the station's still in operation? We don't even know if it's still there?
It could be in tatters, yeah.
You did say something about a mutinous crew. Maybe one of them was acting all crazy or something.
It's possible.
Yeah.
The pressure
I don't
does
know.
have strange effects on people. And it's at this point that you hear a little, hi everyone, I'm Mateus. I'm gonna be the doctor, so if anyone gets in trouble, let me know and I'll get you fixed up. Great, so as you are, as the sort of briefing starts to wrap up, if anyone has any more questions for either Atticus, the doctor, or anyone else, then you're sort of essentially free to wander about the ship as you're making your descent. You see outside these big, vast windows now here that, like, you can see the occasional kind of like rock formation or kind of coral, and light is sort of slowly getting dimmer and dimmer as you're nearing the point where even light itself can't penetrate any further.
Madam Wadsworth, you've been doing research on Atlantic.
Not Atlantic specifically. Well, have you heard of the Forgotten Spirit?
No.
You haven't heard of it? This is a journal I run. I travel around the world researching the spiritual realms, the occult. And I have reason to believe that something about Atlantic is at the heart of it. I've been putting together an expose. That's why I'm here.
You think that this corporation is somehow involved in spiritual...
It is not something I think, it is something I feel. As is everything in these matters. What, are you a doubter?
Oh, no, of course. What you feel, that...
You know, like a hunch or something like that, you know?
There are things around us that are not just what we see. In the study of the mysteries. I mean, this is where humanity finds answers.
Oh my God, I thought you worked for a proper paper. You work for a ghost magazine.
It is a proper paper. Thank you. We have many followers.
You think
in
there's
France,
a little ghost
especially.
down at the bottom of the ocean waiting for us?
Perhaps. And you have no way of knowing, do you?
Well, we'll find out soon enough.
No one is attacking you here. I can certainly understand that at the bottom of the ocean, sometimes you will see things that you cannot explain with science.
Yes. Have you been down there before?
Most of my work has been deep ocean benthic diving, so yes.
No
I've
way.
never been to this base, though.
So you're a real, like, underwater explorer.
Yes, madame.
Oh, kind of like our own Captain Nemo from 2000 Leagues Under the Sea or something like that.
Ah, yes, the Captain Nemo. Close.
Anyway, anyone want a coffee or anything? I can go get something. It sounds like, you know, something to break the pressure in here or something.
Yeah, I could do a team building exercise or something if you guys want.
A what?
Team building, you know, like, and he just sort of, picks a sort of small ball out of his pocket and just sort of throws it at Damon.
Catch it. I look at it. What do you want me to do with this?
You pass it to someone else, and then and then they catch it, and then they throw it to someone. I don't know if I
Call him your dog.
Oh, no. No. If anything, I'm the dog. It's me. Ruff. No, oh God.
Just pass it to Betty. No.
Thanks. Okay. Here you go.
So about that coffee, and he just runs out of the room.
Was that our doctor?
Yeah.
That's how he introduced himself. Whew.
Will we need a doctor?
I think it's probably a good idea.
I mean, when they talk about these mutinous crews, like, you know, they're not going to be like, they're not going to attack us or something, are they? You know, we're coming to help them, right? So.
Well, how long's it been abandoned?
Yeah, not to be morbid or anything, but it's been over 10 years. So.
Hell, long dead.
Doubt we're finding anyone down there alive.
No, but they would have had supplies and stuff, right? I mean, they were.
If the station's not operational, they wouldn't have had power.
Oh.
Without power, you cannot filter oxygen. If they did not starve to death, they most certainly suffocated.
So yes.
So.
There might be ghosts.
We talk about no ghosts and nothing. Give me the jitters.
It's all right. Eamon can fight ghosts, right?
I tell you, son, the worst monsters that we're gonna find down there are gonna be ourselves. Live humans. The darkness can do to you. Just do your job, huh?
Yeah. I'll do my job. Don't worry about that.
Keep focused. I'll handle the rest.
Sure.
Tell me, Mr. Adams, are you here to keep us safe, or are you here to ensure that we do our jobs?
You do your job and you'll be safe.
Oh, I see.
If you don't mind me asking, who hired you?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yes, actually, I would.
I would just like to point out, you are all being paid a handsome sum, and part of that contract that you did technically agree to was that certain questions wouldn't be answered. You're paid enough to not know the answer to certain questions, and I do think that perhaps some level of anonymity for those involved is ideal for the mission's success.
Yes, Captain.
Dead men cannot spend money.
True.
On the bottom of the ocean, there are no mistakes, only tragedies. So perhaps it is worth it for us to work together in this case. If only for survival and our own personal interest, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry, I got your back.
Okay. So as you all now kind of filter out of this main briefing room, is there anything that anyone would like to do? Anyone would like to go before we arrive at the next point?
I would like to walk around taking photos.
Of course.
I'd like to document the ship, as well as anything I see outside the windows.
Yeah.
It feels to me that Miss Wadsworth has all the cards. If you actually know the layout of the base, perhaps it is worth it for us to be briefed. If something should happen to you or to your maps, how are we supposed to navigate if you hold all the cards and now you are dead?
I must also say that while I know some, I don't know all. I just have what I've pieced together from my research. I don't know how accurate it is. I haven't yet been able to put it into play. That being said, I'm happy to give a bit of a debrief.
So are these plans based on your research, or is this more of your intuition?
Who's the journalist here? You or her?
And I would say with any journalist, it's a mix of both, no?
I see.
If I were to sit everyone down and give a bit of an explanation of the layout, can can I roll for how?
Yeah, for sure. Let's
Actually,
absolutely have our first roll. Give me a focus. Give me a focus roll.
Do you want to spend a drive to add dice?
You can spend a drive if you would like to add some dice.
I will spend a drive to add dice.
Okay, go for it.
Might as well.
Can I ask, given my understanding of how nautical layouts work, can I watch what she is doing and contribute the drive if perhaps I see something that, for example, doesn't make sense or we're about
to something?
Amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, I'd love that.
Absolutely. So you can take another drive.
All right. Oh, 1-6.
Okay, and what were the others?
1 and 1.
1 and 1, okay.
Thank you.
So you got the 6, amazing. So I think as you're kind of recalling or piecing things back together, what you have essentially is like a collection of areas and sort of an idea of like what they did. And this is all from kind of pieces of sort of random like journals or things like that that kind of has made their way back up to the surface. So you kind of know the description of like an area. So for instance, you know that like where you will go down into is called the Heverin Ascent. And it's this like long, it was sort of described as this long vertical, almost like transport hub that connected it to this sort of next layer up, and things like escape pods and like hatches and stuff that was like intended to be very easy for you to get in and out, and obviously out of the water. And I think with that as well, you'd probably also know 2 other key areas were Billow's Reach. Billow's Reach was an area, I think maybe it's unclear as exactly how it worked or what the purpose was, but essentially where it could redirect ocean currents.
Interesting.
With these sort of, like there was a set of controls essentially that allowed you to redirect ocean currents. And then the Dover Well, and the Dover Well was the water purification like center.
So I describe that for everyone, and I draw out a loose representation of sort of what I'm imagining. There are some big patches of emptiness where I don't know how things connect, but the big things you see are the Ascent, the escape ports, the Billow's Reach, and the Dover Well.
That's real handy.
Thank you.
So I believe we'll be entering through the Heverin Ascent.
Okay.
Do we know exactly what kind of, are we gonna have to go out in like diving suits? Is there gonna be like, are we gonna connect to this thing? Do we have any knowledge of what equipment we might need to take with us?
The captain will say, we unfortunately don't really know exactly what we're gonna find as and when we get there. Obviously, if we get there and it's just a bunch of rubble, then, kind of we're just exploring, it'll be suits, etc. We'll try and take the Thresher as close as possible, and then if there's not a clear docking point, something that's compatible with the ship, we'll have you go out in the suits, yeah. Which does remind me as well, make sure to pack light any gear. It's unwise, as I've been advised by Hercule, for you to pack too many heavy objects. Keep it simple and just to what you need.
Even if it turns out there is an airlock that is intact, 9 years, I don't know how much damage has been done by salt water to the seals. I would certainly recommend that we are all in diving suits in case we do have to go extravehicular, or perhaps we lose pressure inside.
So I think that you're all kind of floating around. The doctor comes and checks on each of you, clears you, give you a clean bill of health. As you can hear someone over the tannoy say, I think we've got something. We're getting pretty close. As you can see, the light outside is becoming extremely, extremely dark. You all, I think, feel that sense of like the pressure. This ship does a good sense of equalizing it, but as you're getting down into this darkness, into this blackness, the sort of slightly oppressive nature of the ocean itself and that endless blue kind of beyond. Wow. Especially for probably the 4 of you who haven't really done this before. It's something quite extreme to look at and to see. So I would love, actually, if I could get the 4 of you to make me we're gonna say a sense check, please.
So if you don't have any die...
If you don't have any die, then you roll 2 and you give me the worst of the results.
Great.
Right.
Oh, well, that's fine. 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. Mixed success.
I got a 3.
3. So that's
3.
Failure, and then 6, and then
mixed success.
Mixed success. Okay, perfect. I think as you're looking out of this window, that kind of endless blackness is almost like that moment where your like depth perception suddenly gets a little bit like warped and strange, and I think you feel almost like your mind gets like pulled somewhere slightly like out of your own body. And I would like the 2 of you to take a brain mark, please. As you can feel a sense of like the pressure sort of gets to you, and you have a moment where it's hard for you to actually stay focused on what you're doing. And I think for the mixed success, you feel something. I think you feel it sort of maybe in a slightly different place. It feels more like rooted in your body, and I think that because of that, you're able to resist any sort of damage or effect. But there's something deeply uncomfortable which sits as you're slowly descending. And I think you've got enough to be getting on with on the ship, you know, making sure that it's maintained, that maybe you're just not actually paying as much attention as you need to.
Looking out and actually seeing it's quite beautiful in a way, kind of admiring the beauty of it.
So as we are circling the base, is the Thresher using spotlights to highlight? I'm assuming it's pitch black out there.
So as the ship descends, you feel that, you see these spotlights do come out, and the Thresher gets to the edge of this giant, what seems to be like a cliff face in the ocean, below darkness. There's a moment just as the ship kind of tips over the edge and starts to descend out even further, spotlights lighting the way. There's a rather slightly alarming moment as suddenly the sort of pilot has to sort of pull back all of a sudden as you meet this rocky sort of floor almost. And you can see there's a couple of sort of holes in the ocean bed here. And off to one side, you see this giant kind of billowing kind of like bubbles and like sediment all kind of biling through so aggressively, a giant hole. And I think absolutely as part of the brief and also any information that you have, you know that when the station is fully operational, that sort of geothermal vent is like closed essentially. So you know, looking down, that the station is underneath this like almost like layer of rock and sediment. The captain looks
buried.
It seems to be whatever it is like underneath a layer. Maybe there's like a sort of a cave or something like that. The captain will say, "Okay, yeah, good news and bad news. We're pretty confident we found it. The only issue is this is as close as we can get. We could, in a pinch, try to get through that vent, but we'd risk destroying the ship in the process. So I think the best course of action is we'll get you to suit up and head down these hatchways, if you will."
Q? Any advice before we go?
This geothermal vent proves to be very challenging for us. That hot water is coming out superheated, and the water surrounding it is very cold. You will have massive turbulence outside. We will probably be relying on the strength of our protector here to keep us safe. Did you serve in the Navy, good sir?
So many questions.
I'm simply trying to find out if you have experience this level of benthic diving. You know how to keep us safe out here.
Don't worry. We got your back.
I'm gonna use my read.
Do it.
And I'll add my gilded.
Yeah.
Mixed success 5.
Mixed success, okay. With a mixed success, how confident and assured does Damon feel?
I think there is definitely a sense of nerves that I think you can gather, but there's also, you don't know whether those nerves are excitement or fear.
So as the ship is being prepared for the 6 of you, disembark, including the doctor, you'll be diving in pairs. The main reason for diving in pairs is so that you can keep an open line of communication with that person, and that if someone, for whatever reason, should start to panic, they won't then cloud the communications for the rest of you. So you all suit up, and I'm going to introduce the first of our sort of different mechanics that we've got going on. It's less of a mechanic, more of an optional thing, which is that in this world, because as you perhaps have sensed, there are some different opinions and feelings at the table. So I'm going to invite the players at any point to hand me a note or to sort of essentially, whether it be a feeling that they have or something they would like to do specifically. So as we go to leave the ship, is there anything that anyone would like to do, whether they want to tell me out loud or pass me a note? You are more than welcome to. Thank you so much. Okay.
I would like to do something inside the submarine before I exit. So currently the submarine is hovering and the spotlights are out.
Yeah, they're sort of searching. You see they're still kind of trying to search for like a larger opening that they might be able to get the sub through, but it's sort of completely in vain at this point.
All right. Hercule de Brun limps his way to one of the windows and asks the captain, Captain Atticus, can you turn off the lights inside the cabin, please?
Yeah.
Can you turn off the spotlights as well?
As well? We'd be blind out here. Can I ask why?
I just want to take a look for myself.
Okay, briefly. 20 seconds?
Understood.
He sort of walks off, and then you feel a kind of ripple down the sub itself. Like, and then the lights go out underneath you.
What is going on?
And you all find yourself in complete darkness. I would love, let's say, a survey roll from the 4 of you.
Oh, good.
Unless anyone specifically is in the room and has heard that conversation.
And I'm going to use a gilded on that.
If surveys your gilded, yeah.
5.
I'm going to spend a drive.
Yeah.
5.
5.
And I'm going to recover.
Okay, perfect.
How high stakes was that?
It's not super high stakes. It's just a little moment of
3.
3? Okay. This is actually a good opportunity for me to introduce a second mechanic. This is going to be a new panicked condition. So when something shocking, scary, monumental happens, I will ask you to roll a relevant roll, and if you fail or get a mixed success, you have a chance of becoming panicked. And this is where you start to breathe rather heavily. So should you be hooked up to your oxygen tanks right now, you might start burning through your oxygen a little quicker than perhaps you would normally. So for this instance, we'll say that the sort of 4 of you, it's not extreme. You manage to kind of stay yourself, but you feel that kind of flutter in your heart and your breath quickens briefly, but you kind of, let it go. Great.
Is anyone of the 4 of them more agitated or anxious from this than anyone else? I do this for 2 reasons. The first is to get you psychologically comfortable with the fact that you will be in the black most of the time.
Oh, golly.
Your intuition will serve you well out here. He walks to the glass. I put my hand and my forehead to the porthole, and I just take a second and feel the ship. And then he has these lightly blue tinted glasses, and he takes them off folds them, puts them in his pocket, and kind of shields either side with his hands to avoid any ambient light from the controls. And I'm just gonna take a long look. And while I do that, I'm gonna explain. Your eye has two parts. The center, the fovea, uses cones. This is how you see color. That will serve you not at all out here in the dark. The periphery uses rods. They do not detect color, but what they do detect is movement. If you find yourself in the dark out here and you want to see something, don't look at it. Look aside. And I'm just gonna kind of soften my gaze and allow myself to just look out as far as I can. I'm looking for any kind of movement whatsoever.
Okay, let's make this a survey roll.
A 3 and a 2.
3 and a 2. As you look out, I think that there is a moment of not doubt, but it's almost like, I think, struggling to actually understand what you're looking at. Because the formation of the rock, there's almost like a moment where, as you soften that gaze, you could swear you feel the rock start to like move and warp slightly. And I think that as it essentially happens to your whole field of vision, almost like one of those kaleidoscopes where suddenly everything kind of shifts, you can't help but snap yourself out of it. And as you do, the sort of rock seems to snap back as well.
What did you see?
I saw nothing. And that's the problem.
Talking about all those rods and cones, a smart guy to have on our side. Oh, jeez.
Okay, and so with that, we are going to get suited up into our diving suits.
As we go to suit up, I will just stop by my bunk cabin and head inside, grab a few tools and things like that that I think I'm gonna need. And then part of it is I'm gonna take out from a little kind of leather purse 2 movie ticket stubs. Okay. And I'm gonna keep them in my jacket.
Can you make me a hide roll, please?
Yeah. Okay. 4.
4? Okay, thank you very much. So, with that, you are taken through and you begin suiting up, putting on the suits as we begin our dive down to the Rán-Beor geothermal power station. Right, diving pairs. Damon, you're with Hercule. Betty, you're with Val. And Doc, you're with Emily. Remember, keep it quiet, keep it calm, and you'll be all right. Make your way down to the station, and we'll seize you on the other side. Good luck, crew.
You can take the lead, Mr. Adams. I'm slower now in my old age.
Still don't understand why me got a cripple on me hands.
Not everything is about physical might, Mr. Adams. I have already lived far longer than most of the able-bodied seamen that I joined with.
I'm a bit worried about all of this, because, everybody on that ship, it was getting pretty tense up there, right?
Wow, yeah, that's just people, You'll be alright.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mate, you run with me.
Run with you?
Yeah, you'll be alright.
Maybe we should just keep talking instead, though. I know the quiet's good, but, we should just keep it going so I don't lose my mind, maybe.
You won't. Just your soul.
Darkness. Your senses feel starved. No light. Little sound. Just the endless void of the ocean. Your torchlight extends out and hits nothing. until eventually a fleck of bioluminescence drifts across your view, and you see a door. The entrance to Rán-Beor. You find yourself emerging as these two doors kind of pry themselves apart. See, still in your suits, out to this sort of dark room. So a few things float by, the occasional fish. There appears to be like a pocket of air up right at the top. And I think the first thing that you notice is it's very cramped, and there appears to be some little seats, like seated areas, which there's like one seat, two seats, one missing, and then like a fourth seat. And as you make your way out and into this kind of dark and murky room, you can see now very clearly a door to the right and a door to the left. As who do we think would step out first out of this kind of shaft and into
I think
the
I
actual...
probably would, given that I believe I have a bit of a layout.
Okay. As you step out, something immediately kind of like bumps into your side as sort of parts of a skeleton, a skull, just kind of bumps into you. You see an almost perfect bullet hole in the center of the forehead. And then I think as that bumps into you, you see the other bones that make up this person now filling the room. At which point the doctor, having changed the channel to make sure that you're all, everyone can hear him, goes, "I don't think there's much I can do for that one." Okay, sorry.
I don't like that.
It's just, there's gotta be maybe a place that some people could still be okay down here. Maybe a storeroom or something, maybe? Maybe,
yeah. Sure, why not? Anyone who would like to, go ahead and give me a survey roll.
I'll do it.
I'm not gonna do it. I think I'm too caught up in some thoughts right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, well.
Okay. So we have a 3,
a 5,
a 3,
2,
and a 2. So I think as you're kind of now, all of you kind of dispersing, perhaps checking over certain areas, and you can see there are all these kind of, as was kind of alluded to by Val, all these sort of little dials, checks, little kind of gears and things like that. There's still pockets of like air that seem to kind of like bubbles that seem to like flow out of a pipe or something like that. And nature has largely reclaimed this area of the ship. It does seem almost like a sort of mini aquarium with bones floating in it. I think as you're checking around, you do. I'll say that with a 5, kind of like rub off a bit of a kind of above this like little keypad on the door. There's a little thing that says Billows Reach on the left door. It seems that the panel is a bit broken on the other side and you can't make out, but you would assume that would probably be the Dover well, based on the information that you got earlier.
Could I take out my camera and take a picture of that?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I think something catches your eye. There is almost like a lanyard, and on the end of it there is this sort of box that seems to be in some sort of like airtight, almost like leather pouch, and it's just sort of slowly floating a little ways ahead of you.
I'll gently reach out and grab it. Is there any sort of inscription or anything on the case?
No, it seems to be sort of well worn and used, but it does seem that like it's still like sealed.
Sealed like airtight?
Yeah. So you'd assume that whatever's inside is probably unharmed.
And may not be something that I want to subject to water, so I will wait until hopefully we find someplace dry before I try to open it.
Well, probably one of the first things we should do is get the power back on, right? That's gonna help us get around, maybe figure out what happened down here. I don't suppose you would know exactly where something like that might be located, or?
As you say the word power, you hear a little like, as at the back wall, right in front of you, this little red light suddenly appears. And then what appears to be a sort of clean, almost like pulled torch sheet of like latex. You see a kind of face almost presses itself in and through as this simple male's face kind of, hello? Hi, ha. Ooh, is there people? And then I think as you hear some further whirs and clanks, this strange sort of automaton-like creature with this face, seemingly like, almost like there's metal behind this silicon, kind of pressing the impression of a face into it. Kind of lumbers forward. You are new, I think, maybe, or you are new. Do I know you? You? No, you? Maybe,
Jesus Christ.
Earth.
We are on Earth, you say?
Who are you, Tin Man?
Do I Alvin. I'm the personal security of the Rán-Beor.
You got something to do with this? And I point at the skeleton.
What? No, I saw. That was a gun, huh? Bang. Sorry.
How long ago was this?
How long ago is anything? I don't have a reference, I think. A long time, maybe.
It's like goddamn Robbie the Robot over here. What the hell is this?
Who is that?
It's just a guy in a movie.
What is a movie?
Okay, we're getting off track here, but...
I brought a chunky like tablet. It's ruggedized, right? Waterproof.
Yeah.
Can I like interface with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Make me a focus roll. I think you essentially like on this little kind of rugged looking tablet, you see there's like a number of cables and sort of dials on the outside, and all these cables, you're like filtering through, like checking the kind of connection point, like no.
Jamming different things.
Like we all do, trying to desperately find a USB-C and not being able to find one. That's what's happening right now.
All right, I put it in this way, and then I turn it the other way, and then I turn it the third way.
Yes.
And that's it. I'm gonna drive on this one as well.
Okay.
Oh, well, I don't like any of those.
Would you like to burn a resistance?
I would love to burn a resistance on that.
You can go ahead and burn a resistance. That means you get to re-roll. You don't get to re-roll the drive. You have to spend another drive if you want to.
All right, well.
Could I add a drive to this?
How would you assist, do you think?
That's a good question. I could say, in my research, I came up with...
oh, yeah.
I believe that there was, something about these security robots that patrolled. And do I have a thought or anything that I may have come across?
Yeah, I think there's like enough of a, like you would have got enough research on just like general Atlantic kind of construction,
right.
I think, that maybe there's like stuff that makes no sense to you, but I feel like you're someone who's probably like, who researches things to a point where like they know the words, but maybe they don't actually mean anything. So I think it's essentially like you could offer up a few words being like, they mentioned like a this thing and a this thing, and then maybe it'll be like, oh,
a bio
I know
knob.
what that is. You know what I mean?
A what?
A bio knob.
Is it?
A collection quarter, a corralling device.
A corralling device. All right, okay. All right, I'll look for that.
While she is working, I'm going to try to keep Alvin's attention, so it's not necessarily paying attention to what Val is doing.
Yeah, okay.
Alvin, my friend.
Yes.
You have been injured, my friend, or perhaps just worn down over time.
I must say, it looks different in here. Much different. There are more of you now than there was. What was?
Because they're all dead now. Alvin.
The last time there was 2 people and hit here.
At least, yes.
6.
6.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You sort of make a connection, and I think you start to see kind of like data and things like that. Sort of lots of zeros and ones start spilling down, and you're kind of trying to read across the lines of code, and you can see there's like parts that are corrupted, but absolutely with a little bit of reworking, you start to kind of place a few lines of code like back where they should be, and there is a noticeable kind of shift as Alvin's like, thank you. That feels better. So much better.
All right, Alvin, mate, what can you tell us?
Well, I was tasked with making sure that nobody came or went that should not come or go. This is the only personal the escape route from the station. Otherwise, you needed the vehicular support.
And Alvin, do you have any record of anyone entering or leaving?
Yes. There was two people came in, and
Who?
one was shot. Bang. There. And then one took the seat and left.
So that's the 3 versus the 4.
Yes, that is the missing one there.
Do you know the name of who got out?
I think it was. Nope. Maybe one more focus roll, please.
All right. Can I add a die because I'm using a computer?
Yes, absolutely, you can. This is one of your abilities.
All right. 5.
5? Okay. You get a black. Well.
Blackwell, the science officer.
Dr. Blackwell.
Blackwell.
He's the one that went.
Blackwell. And you see that the complication, this sort of mixed success here is you go Blackwell and just seems to kind of get stuck. And as you start trying to, interrogate or ask any
Damn
further
it,
questions,
come on.
Blackwell.
I'm gonna hit it.
Blackwell. Make a strike roll, please.
I am going to make distance from our 4.
Okay.
Less cautious from.
You strike. Are you sort of? How are you pulling a punch here, or are you just sort of?
Yeah, I'm
strike?
kind of just like almost like
giving it a little
bashing
bit.
you on the forehead. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, come on. What happened? Where'd he go?
It was making too much noise.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Adams. You have clearly helped us in our cause.
Well, Blackwell was the lead guy, right? He was the guy who did send that message?
He was the science officer, from what I understand.
Oh, that's right, the science officer.
I believe the video is from an admiral, is that correct?
Correct. Admiral Anders.
Admiral Anders. Okay, well, this doesn't... We still gotta find out, where everything is, and I think getting the power on is still a really good idea, because then it's gonna make it a lot easier for us to get around here, I think. Maybe get some of the filtration systems and stuff going back on. Should we split up? There's these 2 different buildings. What do we do here?
Before we go anywhere, if you don't mind, Mademoiselle, I would like to ask, Val, are you able to use your interface to perhaps extract information from this robot?
I can see what I can do.
Idea.
I'll say, given your ability and the sort of information that you've already got there, I'll let you ask me 2 questions.
I reckon there's enough juice for a couple of questions. Can I consult the party for questions, or is this?
I think so. Essentially, the reason why I'm saying it's 2 questions is you're essentially like pulling apart the data. Like you're like sort of ripping through files and having to extract things.
Right.
And as you're doing that, it's becoming less and less stable.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So essentially, the more you do that, the less sort of coherent the information is. So I think it makes sense if it's like a slightly
More instantaneous.
More
Yeah.
instantaneous
Okay,
thing that you're just
I'm
like,
reading it. Right.
I'll check this and I'll check this kind of thing.
Okay.
We trust you.
I look for a log about the flooding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there a record of what happened? Where the shell was like broken, where containment failed on the station.
I'll sort of give it to you in visual form. So essentially, you watch as you see these doors kind of slide close, and then it's all from the perspective of Alvin, kind of stomps forward, and clearly is trying to like open the doors. Like you see these sort of two metallic hands coming up and trying to sort of pry the doors open, but they're sealed by like several layers. And then Alvin kind of stomps over to a sort of a porthole window, and you can see this like little sort of individual pod kind of shooting up, and you see it go up and through one of those holes in the top that you descended down through. And you see that Alvin just starts like hammering at the window. And it probably, essentially the file just goes on for the best part of like 3 months of just Alvin just like attacking this window until eventually it burst. It sort of broke open, and Alvin eventually sort of found his way back to his little dock.
And is that one of the windows in here in this room?
Yeah.
All right. I'm scanning the data for a blueprint, a current blueprint.
Of the station, or just any current blueprints?
Of the station.
Of the station. Okay. Yeah, I think that with the rolls and everything that you had, I think that you get essentially like the next layer that was previously revealed, and so you can see at sort of relatively accurately, as described earlier, that the Haverin Ascent, and then we have Billows Reach off to the left, and the Dover Well. Then beyond that, you see there is a place called the Colgrave Nexus. It's like a, which I think you get like just a line of like sort of experiments or laboratory, and then the other side is the Havenglow Observatory.
All right. Havenglow
Observatory.
And what are they attached to? Are they attached to the Billows and Dover?
Yes, it seems, yes, that's a good point. So it seems that the Billows Reach is attached to the Havenglow Observatory, and that the Dover Well is attached to the Colgrave Nexus. I will say a crucial thing that you do get here is that there appears to be a power source that then connects those two locations.
So there's somewhere else that's attached to there. Okay.
Brilliant, Val.
All right.
Hey, you've done pretty well.
Grateful for your talents.
Well,
great work, Val. That's real swell.
Cheers.
What would the party like to do?
Well, we got these two directions. I mean, they all connect to the power source, but I don't know if it's. I guess we got to explore the whole thing, right? That's what we're here to do. That's what we were paid to do, right?
And it's dark in here? You're using spotlights or something to navigate our way?
The lights that are attached to your suit, that's the only thing that's drawing attention. There was a very brief kind of red light above Alvin's little face, but that was it.
Oxygen check. I want to know how everyone is doing.
Yeah, you're still on about 5.5 hours of oxygen remaining. And you all have an emergency tank with you as well, a 1 hour emergency tank.
Because I'm paranoid, I'm just going to do a really quick once-over on everyone and see if I see air bubbles escaping from anyone's suit or anything that implies any sort of potential failure or breach.
I'll say that you pretty quickly can, as long as no one sort of objects to you checking, everyone seems pretty good.
D'accord.
And would you pass this?
Thank you so much.
Is there a door or anything? Like, I'm sure there is, but like, what's
the two doors?
Yeah, so you've got two doors that you came through, and then you've got a door. So if you're coming out of those doors, you've got a door to the left, door to the right. The door to the left definitely goes to the Billows Reach, and you're pretty confident the door to the right goes to the Dover Well.
So I'm going to go towards the Dover Well door.
Dover Well door?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a little sort of keypad on the door, and it appears that there's like a tube kind of on the other side. Well, sorry, there's a door, then another door, and then like a long tube which seems to connect to like another building. and it's like a sort of pretty round tube with like a walkway platform on it. But that sort of next room does appear to not be flooded.
So it's sealed currently, the door?
Yeah.
Could I do a possible research check to see if I know anything about either of these rooms in my research?
Well, I think that you got already that the Billows Reach was the one that directed currents.
Ah, yes.
And then the Dover Well was the one that purified
the water. All right.
Mademoiselle Betty, we are probably going to need to manually open these bulkhead doors, right? They would have been designed to withstand great pressure, so it must be some sort of massive
mechanical lock or something like that. Sure, I can take a look.
You'll probably need some sort of, there should be a wrench or some other type of leverage nearby that we can use to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got something here I can probably get these open with. Are we all going together, or, you know, how do we want to do this? I mean, Mr. Damon looks like he wants to head towards the Dover Well. Like, are we all heading there?
Is there something you are looking for that we can help you with?
I'm just trying to do my job, man.
If I can, sorry, I'm still here. I'm just kind of panicking a little bit. Well, the observatory could be useful if we're trying to get a lay of the land, or I guess if we want to, the lab feels like less consequential, but I don't know. You know, I'm just here to make sure you're not sick, or anything. Which actually does remind me, sorry, when you check he's absolutely burned through more oxygen. He's on about 4.5 hours left.
You should listen to the doc. Go to the observatory.
Mr. Mateus, you are a nervous individual.
No, I think I'm good. It's just there was a dead body skeleton. You all seem fine with it, which was kind of wild, you know.
I'm a little concerned that a doctor is so disturbed by dead bodies.
Well, that's kind of my job, is to not have dead bodies, you see, you know. And so far, I got a pretty good strike rate. In that I don't have dead bodies, not that I do. You know, yeah, I realize how that came across. That sounded bad.
You're wasting time. Which way are we going?
I'm curious to see the observatory.
Right.
I think it would be interesting to get a lay of the land.
We start making a move, and I start moving there, and I actually grab the doctor and kind of force him as well in that direction.
Okay, we're going that way. I'll go up to the door and I'll start, checking for the leverage system or whatever.
Mr. Mateus, use your box breathing. You must calm down. Your consumption of oxygen is getting low. And if you run out of oxygen, it is going to slow all of us down trying to save you.
Yeah. Okay.
We are all going home. You understand?
Yep. We're all going home. There's no place like home. This is fine.
3-second inhale. Hold for 3 seconds. Exhale for 3. Hold for 3 seconds. Focus on your breath.
Okay. I'm so relaxed, thank you.
Monsieur Adams will keep you safe.
It's so calming. Thank you so much.
Are we all going together? Are we splitting?
We're going together.
I don't like the idea of splitting us up, especially when there are so many unknowns down here.
I'm not going anywhere alone. Betty, is it dry through there?
Sorry, I was just lost in some thoughts. You can see that it's not flooded through here, so we should go in quick and then shut the door behind us.
It's not going to work that way. If you open this door, the weight of this water will drive us all.
So I think that you can see, just by looking at the sort of mechanics of this door, there is essentially a sequence of sort of like locks and balances, and essentially every sequence pressurizes the room beyond that little bit. And so essentially you'll make like a roll just to make sure that doesn't get out of sequence, but essentially like if you do everything in the right order, that chamber inside should like rebalance essentially. This was it's like a fail safe should this exact thing happen.
Okay, sure.
If there is a way that I can assist, because I'm pretty used to these sort of procedures.
Yeah.
I will help.
Yeah, I'll start opening the door.
Okay, great. So yeah, we'll go ahead and make this a I'm actually making this a read check.
Read? Okay. And then are you assisting? Thank you. That's a 6.
That's a 6. Okay. Yeah, you kind of watch as you kind of there's a few little sort of turns, and you can hear sort of now like air and sort of water rushing through pipes, and you can actually see the room beyond starting to fill with water. As like very slowly the door itself, after a while, after the room is filled up completely with water, the door itself kind of compresses in and slides to the side. And you see the exact same thing on the other side. So essentially, that should you do the same thing, the water will now drain out of that chamber and you can open that. So do you wish to sort of proceed on? Are you gonna, drain the water out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you go through, drain the water out of this chamber, so the other door kind of swings open, and you are now, for the first time, sort of out of water. Do you guys wish to continue with your suits? As in you're keeping your oxygen flowing?
Q, do you think it is safe?
I just begin to take it off.
Okay.
Don't even wait.
Yeah. You can just essentially just turn the oxygen off.
Turn the oxygen off, yeah.
I'm going to turn off my oxygen but keep my seals, and I'm going to watch and see how Mr. Adams behaves over the next 30 seconds.
He doesn't start to turn blue or anything like that, so you'd assume that he's breathing fine, at least for the moment.
I kind of look to you, I'm like, seems safe.
Then I will do the same.
Okay.
I'm going to crack the seal on my helmet, but I am not taking it off.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the time being, oxygen is not flowing. And you, there's basically this sort of round tube, and in the middle there is this walkway that just sort of goes through, and you can see outside, it's almost like in an aquarium where you're sort of surrounded on all sides by water, but it is completely pitch black. There is the occasional, now that you're sort of here and in this part, you can see that there's like the occasional sort of flicker of bioluminescence, maybe like an anglerfish or something sort of swims past. There's like the occasional little bursts of light, almost like stars sort of through this sort of inky blackness. And I'm gonna get, actually you tell me, are you proceeding forward, pushing on? And can I get an order, because you'd probably have to go single file, especially in these sort of slightly heavier
I will
suits.
probably lead.
Go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
I'm gonna follow Mr. Damon.
I'm hanging back.
Hanging back?
I was going to say that I think as I'm walking, I'm kind of looking around in fascination. This is incredible to see this in the flesh. So probably hanging back as well.
You want to go in the middle?
Yes, and I am...
Where would you like the doctor to go?
I think if he's being manhandled by Monsieur Adams.
So he'll be actually in front of me.
He's in front of you, yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to change the order. I'm actually going to be in front of the doctor.
You're going to be in front of the doctor, okay. And who is going to be actually at the back then between you two?
Whatever you think.
I want to be right at the back.
Right at the back, okay.
I'm walking quite slowly.
Okay, so you guys are back.
I'm sticking as close to this guy as I can.
I'm going to hang back slightly and just quietly whisper to Val and Amelie. I don't know Mr. Adams' intentions, but our medicine, our doctor, may very well be from Atlantic. The idea that he is being manhandled by Mr. Adams isn't necessarily because Mr. Adams doesn't like him. Perhaps it is both are an Atlantic employee and are sticking together. So I will be watching them very closely. I do not like this.
I think as they're having a sort of more serious, quiet conversation in the back, I'm kind of just rambling maybe, and I'm like, so like, Mr. Damon, you like, where you come from? Where's, you like movies?
Where I come from?
Yeah.
Your mother's funny.
Oh, shit, okay. Well, no need to be rude about it. I guess I'll just be quiet then. Jeez. Just trying to make a little conversation. It's pretty scary down here,
You're wasting the oxygen.
I like movies.
Yeah, maybe zip it, doctor.
Oh, right, I shouldn't talk either, okay.
Don't feel bad, Betty. You have already contributed to our cause much better than this gentleman here.
All right, let's just get down to the power system, gentlemen. Let's just get on with the job, right? Fair enough, we're here to do a job. Just trying to make,
Something moves.
I kind of...
Within the tunnel, or...
On the outside of the tunnel, but large enough for it to catch your attention. Something that moves very... It's not that same kind of fluid, sort of shimmery motion of a fish. Something a bit more sort of jerking and aggressive.
Turn off the lights.
My light instantly goes off.
Emily leans forward to Hercule and says, "Your mind makes things up in the darkness. Is that correct?"
That does not look like intuition to me.
Emily turns out her light.
Everyone turning the lights off?
Yeah.
Emily then turns her out.
Yeah.
So you hear something start to scratch, and then a distant sound. You hear almost like a rush, and then it immediately stops.
My hand goes back to Betty, with the hearing of the breathing, and it's this, you feel this large paw just on your shoulder, but it doesn't feel aggressive. It's just enough weight.
Something lands on the bridge.
Hand still on the shoulder.
And then you hear...
Hand still on the shoulder. My other hand's gonna reach for my hunter's knife. And as I'm feeling it, can I sense that it is in front of me?
It's behind
close?
you.
Right.
It is right behind you.
Right. Oh my God. So then what I'm gonna then do is I'm gonna try and maneuver myself across everyone to try and get to this thing.
Okay. Would you like to, are you trying to do it silently? Are you trying to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Small movements, but like very slow.
Before that happens, may I please ask anyone who perhaps might have been affected by that to make me just make your gilded roll, if you will. So use your gilded roll, basically, however many dice you have for that.
Would I have been affected? I feel like I'm...
I think I'm
all right, because I'm like, I'm almost like, yeah.
I'm happy for that, yeah.
All right.
4 gilded.
6 gilded.
6.
4.
Oh, 4?
6.
6.
4.
4.
6.
6.
And is this a sound that I would know?
No. I will say this. I think for all of you, it starts as this raspy kind of intake of, and then it starts to change, almost like there is something, some new kind of mechanism or something that's being, that's sort of trying to function, and it's not quite working because you hear this like, and I think that what you would sense is that like, it almost sounds, the closest thing that you can akin it to is like when a fish is stranded on the beach.
Oh, so interesting.
I'm going to quietly take my helmet off, extend it as far away from my body as possible, and turn on the light. I think, right next to Val.
So are you going to allow Damon to kind of move past you first?
No problem.
Okay. This smell, Damon, as you walk past Val, of rotting flesh becomes almost unbearable.
Okay.
As you move past, and then I think this light flicks on, and probably 6 inches from your face, you see a completely faceless creature, almost like this pale blue skin has been pulled over the head of this humanoid, covered in fins, barnacles, claws, spikes all poking out from different places, scratches all over its body that look concurrent, almost as if it's done it to itself. And the light turns on, and there is absolutely no reaction from the creature, as it doesn't have eyes, it doesn't have a mouth, it doesn't have a nose, and that noise seems to be coming from its throat.
So if it's close to me, I'm gonna place the knife just under, like just aim for the neck, and then I'm just gonna move straight in for the stab for the neck there.
Make me a strike roll, please.
6 and a 4.
6 and a 4. Okay. So we're going to introduce another mechanic that I've made for this. So we have now what's called a cinematic mode. Now what this means is that during a cinematic mode we have a slightly more turn-based sense of action, but it's very, very simple. Essentially the group will all choose whether they want to go high tide or low tide. If you go high tide, you act first. If you go low tide, you act second. I will also pick one, and if there's a conflict between what I want and what you want, we'll do a simple roll off, and whoever wins gets to choose.
Is there a benefit to going second?
Well, essentially, it's like if I call for a cinematic, but you don't necessarily know why, you might want to go second so that you get a chance to see whatever.
I see. Okay.
Rather than sort of wasting essentially a turn of just not knowing what is happening. So, with that said, we will resolve that at the top, but what does the group want to do? Do they want to go high tide or low tide?
Does the high tide or low tide take place after the stab?
The stab is going to happen at the top of the round, and then essentially we'll go into high tide versus low.
I think I'm low tide. I'm at the back, and I'm just freaking out.
It's a collective decision as well. So
it's a collective.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the action that I've just done, it makes us high tide, right?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me.
That would all give you essentially a chance to act now in this moment before the creature did.
Action has already been taken. I was originally thinking perhaps if it is actually blind, we could just give it space and see what it does, but...
It has a knife in its throat?
Yeah, with 2 successes, I'm going to use my render flesh as well.
Okay.
You are very good at killing things, Mr. Adams.
Also, we're just stabbed a creature, so we're going to need you to make a decision real fast.
I think it makes sense to be high tide. Like, this is like an impact thing, like reactions, like jumping in.
This knife goes into the throat of this creature. And you see it kind of reaching out, and it sort of places this wet, sort of strange, it's not skin, it's not skin and it's not scales, it's something in between. It leaves like this sinewy kind of sludge all over your face. What are other people doing?
Bloody hell, I retreat.
You're still like halfway across this thing, so right? So the rest of you are sort of the other side, you're the right side in terms of the direction that you want to head, so.
I mean, once I've done that, I'm gonna look back and kind of direct people to run.
And you were going to use your rend flesh ability, I believe.
Yes.
Which is when you get 2 or more successes in your dice pool, making a strike action, you can choose to do a critical piece of damage. What would you like to do?
I guess the knife is just gonna turn, and as it turns, I'm gonna lever it up and almost go to like slice the head in half.
Okay. Twist it, slice through. There is as you slice through, you see a perfectly human skull on the inside. As it cleaves in half, that same noise, that kind of wet gargle of blood, as it drops back onto the ground.
Emily moves forward, just absolutely fascinated. And you can almost hear her whisper under her breath, I knew it. I knew it.
We heard this thing like something land on the walkway, right? I'm gonna look up.
Are you using light? So what are you choosing to do?
You know what? Yeah, I think like, I'm just like, I look up.
You look up and there is absolutely no There's nothing wrong with the exterior. There is some water that seems to have pooled very briefly into the bottom of this tube that wasn't there before, but the actual outside of this tube is perfectly intact.
But it was high enough up that something could have been up there and then dropped down?
No, it's a pretty small tube.
What the fuck?
How did this thing get in here?
Well, I'm not even asking questions or thinking. If it's down, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna grab it by its leg, and I'm gonna drag it past everyone to the front.
Yep.
And go towards where we were going to.
As he goes, Emily runs out. Wait, trying to take a photo.
Yeah. I kind of look, as I walk past, I walk past Hercule and kind of look at him and be like, as if the flash of the light, and kind of move on.
What the fuck is going on?
Oh, bloody hell, I don't like this.
So, you managed to open the two doors. It seems that this next room, this next area, it's not flooded or anything like that. So, you make your way through and into the Billows Reach.
Is there an open space here? Is there
Yeah, there will be, yeah.
I'm gonna put the body just in the middle there. Yeah.
Okay.
Clean my blade.
You make your way through the door. As you get through into the Billows Reach, you feel like you can smell it first. There is some sort of gas in the air here, and the oxygen is starting to be a little thin.
Should we put our helmets back on?
I think that's a good idea.
As you get through into this room, what you see, there is in fact, actually, why doesn't everyone give me a survey roll? Because you're still, there's no power on, so we're still using our headlights. So I think this is essentially what you are kind of able to kind of scan and see.
I'm going to take a gilded 5.
3.
Four. I've got 6.
Okay. So as you're looking around, trying to uncover, what this room is, it's actually a much larger room than any that you've been in thus far. One whole side of the room seems to be a series of very complicated sort of dials and buttons, which would probably only make even vague sense to you two. It does seem that there are, as well, almost like a railway kind of map. There's like a bunch of lines, and then sort of what looks like they would be like little light bulbs, and then it kind of leads to something else and something else and something else, and it's all sort of connected along this big wall on one side.
A grid map, perhaps?
It is, in a sense, yes. And under a kind of big port window, you see there is a table. You got 6?
Yeah.
So I think you see there's a big table, and actually you look down and catch there is a chessboard. Some of the chess pieces, like 2 of them, still stand. There is in one chair on the right-hand side, you see a skeleton with another one of those strange kind of leather pouch things. And with the 6, you notice that there is a handcuffed hand that remains kind of like on the table, and the other side of the handcuff is attached to the leg. And the most peculiar thing about this hand is that it is still intact. Rotted, certainly, but it is not skeletal.
Ooh.
What?
And I think as you're kind of walking around as well, you get this really sort of particularly like sort of metallic tinge as you're looking around.
I'm gonna take the lanyard. Would I have noticed that you've got the other one on you? Have you got it on your person visibly, or?
Yes, I didn't hide it. I was.
Yeah. So I kind of walk over. I'm like, "You like to collect these, eh?"
I will hold on to it for you, of course. Are we in this? So this is.
Yeah. You feel like just to clarify as well. There is absolutely air here. It's just a little thin. Like you'd feel like if you were to be without your helmet for a while, you might get a little faint, sort of thing.
I would also caution, and we don't know if this gas is flammable.
It's a good shout. Yeah. Does it smell like anything? Like there's
just like that metallic tinge on the nose.
It doesn't smell like methane or gas or anything like that. No, It's not methane or usual gas, but it could be something. Maybe something they use in their experiments or whatever. Are we gonna talk about this fucking thing? I know we got a job to do, but what the fuck is this?
Let the doctor.
What the fuck? He's still moving.
That was me being mean. That was just me being mean. It's
putain.
fine. It's not moving anymore.
The doctor have their time to look at it right now. We need to figure out a way out of here.
Sorry, did you just say I'm gonna look at it?
Yes.
I'm not gonna look at it.
Yes, you are, and you're going to look at it right now.
Okay, these two. Yeah, if these two say I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it. Let me go have a look at it.
I'm curious to know the method of preservation.
Wait, what? Is this a human skull in here? Oh, I don't like that. I don't love that. The bones are the same. From where you slice the thing in half, the bones are the same. Why are the bones the same?
I kind of look too.
Why are the bones the same?
The cube.
The bones, yes, I want to know also, in the ocular cavity, is there an eye? Is it vestigial? What is happening here?
There's a space where the eye would be, and he sort of, oh no, I don't like this, kind of digs around in what the eye socket would be, and you see that there is like the beginning, he's like, there's the beginnings of an optical nerve, but it doesn't end in anything, it just ends in flesh.
Almost as if it has adapted to life in the dark.
Yeah, it's probably kind of concurrent with other things down, like fish and things down here that had eyes at some point and then essentially don't need them, so they just become dead.
With, if I go to it, is it bleeding? Is there any blood?
It's, I think on the further in you go, almost sort of like a sort of medium rare steak.
Oh.
Right, and then with it, can I, like, when I smell it, what does it smell like?
I think it's hard for you to get it to smell because you've got your helmet on right now, so you'd probably have to.
So yeah, I would have taken,
okay.
yeah.
So you take the helmet off briefly? Yeah. It is that same, like, putrid smell of, like, like rotted flesh mixed with, like, fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of wipe my hands, put my helmet back on, I wipe it, and look at your lanyard, and I'm like, so what's inside?
I think it is time that we open these and see the contents.
Yes, you're gonna open one of these. Which one are you gonna open? The one that you found in here or the one that you found earlier?
I think we should open one first, but my intention, I think, is to open both.
Okay, yeah. Which one do you want to open first?
Let's open the one we found in here first.
You go ahead, open it up, and you find this strange-looking, sort of long, almost like a cassette tape holder. There's a little keypad at one end. At the other end, there's like a play button, a pause button, rewind, and a record. And then there's like a little kind of, it looks like it's almost like a built-in cassette. Like it doesn't, the actual thing cartridge doesn't come out or in, right? It's like all one piece. And at the end that's sort of facing up in the lanyard, you can see there's like a little kind of gauze where a microphone would be.
Some sort of log or recording device.
Yeah, looks like it.
I've used these before. In my research. It must be some type of... Is there a button?
I don't know much about these sort of electronics, so I will hand it, if you have experience, I will hand it to you.
How familiar am I?
Yeah, I think you've probably seen one of these things before. It's not like a particularly revolutionary piece of tech.
Yeah.
The only thing you do know is that sometimes these are because you can't remove the cartridge. You can like almost like pin protect the
so they can't be overwritten,
right? So to make sure if someone else found it, they can't just listen to it. Do you press the play button on this one?
I believe yes.
Okay. It does start to play.
I love this place. Rán-Beor is just, wow. The brightest minds all working together. No red tape, no limits, just pure innovation. We're making history. Unlimited energy for the world. Can you believe it? And the layout, so efficient. If you know the right pathways, like I do, you can get anywhere in minutes. I even found a tunnel, not on the schematics. It hums, like the walls are singing with all these notes and marks on it, though not in a language I understand. I asked Marcus if it was part of the system, but he just gave me that serious face and changed the subject. I'll beat him at chess later and I'll make him spill. Oh, and last night, I was at my station in Billow's Reach and I used the current deflectors to give the divers on the outside a little boost. They swung by after to tell me how fun it was. Anyway, back to work before someone catches me talking to myself again. The future is so bright.
Emily grabs out her notebook and tries to jot down everything that she just heard.
I'm gonna go over where the chessboard was. You said that there was a handcuff with a hand opposite the person where the lanyard was taken from.
Yes.
And look at the hand.
Yeah, you look at the hand. It's this kind of rotted, putrid hand. Do you want to...
Is there a scar? I'm looking for a scar on one of the fingers.
Why don't you give me a focus roll?
Okay. I'm gonna spend a drive on this. 2 5s.
2 5s?
2 5s.
There is so much sort of wrong with this hand that it's almost impossible to tell. It's been, parts of the flesh are peeling. There looks as if there's probably been some creatures buried inside it at certain points. It's really difficult to tell, but there is like one point where you're like, that does kind of feel like.
No.
What do you see?
Nothing. It's just, it's just a creepy hand. That's all. The audio lady said that she was playing chess with somebody. I just figured it was something. We should get a move on. We should go find the power.
We find ourselves in this Billow's Reach. Bodies on the floor. Just heard this message played out loud. I think you were going to try and play perhaps a second one. I'm just going to hand that to you.
As he's opening this.
Okay. Okay. Would you like to try and play the other one that you have?
I would like to look at the player and see if it looks the same as the other one we just used, or if it looks like in any way.
You take a look at this thing. It looks a little bit more worn than perhaps the other one did. Do you go ahead and press the play button?
Yes, please.
Okay. You click it in, and it does seem like this one is pin protected, unfortunately. If you wanted to try to bypass it, you could.
Want me?
Absolutely.
Is there any way you can?
Focus.
I would like to focus, and I will try and interface again with the tablet. All right. I'll spend another point of drive.
Do it.
That is a gilded 6.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay, perfect. As you click it in, you find one file. You manage to bypass the security on that one. There is actually a second one on here as well that you think that you could access, but that it does look like will require the PIN number. But you do get that it is only a 3-digit number that you're looking for. However, you do get access to this one.
Ah, yes, it's working. Oh, wait, is it? Yes. Yes, of course it is. Dr. Yvette Durand, personal log. Well, another one. Note to self, I need to organize these better. Tonight was different. The specimen, no, the subject saw me, recognized me. It responded, not just mimicking sounds, no, it mimicked form. Crude attempt, but unmistakable, adaptive. Dr. Blackwell will call this reckless. They lack vision. The Riftborn need more than caution. They need guidance. Oh, this one is still capable of speech. Fascinating. I should delete this. No, history does not remember the timid. I must keep it so everyone knows my great work.
That is where it cuts out.
Well, that was disturbing.
Something happened here.
What the bloody hell is a Riftborn?
Riftborn, subjects, specimens. This ain't what I signed on for. This ain't what...
This is exactly what I signed on for.
Well, that's good for you, lady, but we got a job to do. We need to get the power on. We need to stop messing around here with all this sci-fi bullshit.
Still capable of speech. Sounds like her subject.
Is that like, you think this thing?
I feel like we ought to explore the laboratory.
Yeah.
Well, that's... If you want to get to the observatory, it's through here, and we got to connect for another one of those tunnels.
And is the observatory where we find the access to power?
Yeah, there should be, from the schematics you brought up, right? It showed that there was a connection from the observatory and the Coalgrave Nexus, both linked to the power
it all
source.
loops around, and the power is connected to the Nexus and the Haven Observatory.
Yeah, so we go through the observatory, and then we can get to the power.
Yeah.
While we are discussing what to do next, I'm just going to take a look at the body. I want to see, you had mentioned that it has like barbs and other features on it. I want to see if I recognize anything that looks like perhaps from the ichthyology I've done, like venomous barbs, things that maybe it's poisonous. I want to know if we run into these again, if there are things that we need to be more careful about. It seemed to want to connect with you, which...
I'll say that just based on your experience, you know that there are types of, whether it be crustacean or bacteria or fungi or anything that like will sort of allow for like growths and other such things. And I think that the fact that this sort of thing was sort of covered in these like barbs and spines and part like it's quite clear that this wasn't like an evolutionary thing, if that makes sense, right? That this was like somewhat random, and it seemed like just based on like the scars and things like that you can see on its arms, they all look like self-inflicted, so you can almost imagine that it was uncomfortable or difficult for the creature.
It suffered.
Mate, sorry, would you?
Perhaps you did it a mercy. Bethy, I'm not going to pry into your personal business, but I noticed that when you went over to the hand for a moment, you seemed to be upset.
You see a crazy fish monster and a dead hand? Of course I'm upset. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't want to pry. I'm also a little troubled. And that it's not even me just being a wuss, but like, why is that hand not a skeleton? Like all the other bodies we've seen, they're like full. There's no flesh. It's been like what, 10 years or something? They said. That freaks me out. That's not good.
Maybe they were handcuffed there not that long ago. Maybe people found a way to survive down here, and something happened, and then
You all ask a lot of questions, and we get no answers. If you're just gonna sit here talking all the time, we should move forward.
Yeah, no,
Get the power on.
You're right.
Then you can start assessing.
Fair enough. The body is not missing a hand.
Which one?
This dead creature.
I do agree with Damon that some things are unexplainable. Shall we continue on?
Yeah.
I just want to finish this real quick. And I'm using read.
Okay.
So a 6, but just to say, it is your personal business. Just know that I'm here for you. And if there's something that I can do to be of service.
She is absolutely not telling the truth and is hiding something. It's very obvious. Whoever that hand belonged to meant a lot to me. But yeah, Mr. Damon's right. Let's go. Can you help me with the door again?
Okay. As you begin, you look through. This next door opens quite easily. You all filter through. You notice that the this tube is actually kind of broken halfway down, and so this will require you essentially to swim through. and there is a section where the tubes don't connect anymore. So I'm assuming you'll all put your...
Yeah, we'll do.
The door closes behind you, and water starts to seep up from below. Can I get people, please? I'll have everyone make me a control roll.
Okay.
That's a 1.
I'm gonna resist that.
That's a 1.
That's better. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Double 6.
I got a 6.
5.
5?
That's the one.
As this water starts to fill up from the bottom, there is a moment for the two of you. I think the three of you see kind of what it is almost immediately. It seems as though that some sort of oil or like almost like a fluid or of some sort kind of seeps into the room. It's like there's a something from the machinery is just sort of leaking, which shouldn't be a problem because you'll be, in your suits. But I think there is a moment as you look down at these swirling kind of patterns on the ground for the two of you, that you feel this twisting sensation in your stomach, and you can't help but feel like there's almost like the motion of whatever that liquid is seems to move something inside your body, almost like the blood itself starts to churn the wrong way around your organs. And I need each of you to take a tide mark, please. We will be replacing bleed with tide in this game.
Does anyone else feel that?
I feel something. It don't feel right.
No, it doesn't.
My insides. Your insides? Not good.
Describe the sensation to me.
It's almost like my blood is moving in rhythm with the churning of the liquid. What about you?
Yeah, exactly that.
I think the most unsettling part for the both of you is normally when you experience this kind of thing, whether it be on the ocean or, whether it be the waves or something where it feels slightly disorientating, normally once you kind of realize it, it sort of stops. It's still going.
Emily leans into Val and whispers, "You still don't believe in ghost stories?"
No, I don't. This isn't a ghost. This is a doctor. Am I going to be a fish man?
What?
Fishman!
Are you going to be a fishman?
Am I going to be a fish? I don't feel right.
I hope not. I'll try and stop that, I guess.
Is Val starting to spiral out here?
Do you think that Val's affected by this?
Yeah, I am not up for any part
Can
of
you
this.
make me a gilded roll, please?
Okay. 4.
4? So you feel yourself begin to panic and you burn through an hour of your oxygen.
Oh.
So if you could mark that down for me. So everyone actually would be down to 5, so you're down to 4.
I'm going to take Val, I'm going to place my hands on either side on her shoulders and put my faceplate against hers so that she hears me speaking through the vibration of the helmet. I'm not distributing this to the group.
Sure.
Val, I've seen a lot of very scary things down here, and I've lost many good friends, but nothing is going to happen to you. You are in good hands. All right?
Right. Yes.
And I'm gonna take that tide from her.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. You can take the tide mark.
Bloody hell.
We are all going home.
Oh.
I'm just going to give you this, just to mark your success there. You know what you can do for that,
Copy.
and that's when you would like to.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Very cool.
Okay, so on order, you're going first.
Yep.
Then
I'll go right
second.
behind.
Are
I guess
you
I'll go third.
going behind, stay at the back this time?
Yes. I don't care as much this time. I'm just excited to see the next one.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Doctor, where do you want me?
Why don't I take up the rear? You go ahead, Doctor. I will make sure that we aren't visited by another one of our friends.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Will everyone just take 1 dice, please, as we begin to swim out, and roll it for me. 2. 5. 4.
4. It's another 1.
Another 1. 1.
Oh.
Okay, I actually need the 3 of us to roll, as we all rolled once.
4.
2.
As a second 1 for the doctor. As you're swimming across through this sort of inky blackness, I think it takes a second for you actually to catch the other end of this pipe, because it's so impossible to tell if you're drifting. It's essentially like trying to walk with your eyes closed, and there's that just natural, drift that happens. And I think you literally, you almost would have gone past it until you sort of catch your light kind of catches the rim of it, and you kind of manage to course correct, and you all follow in. And I think just as the 2 of you making your way in, something dashes across your field of vision at an almost impossible speed, and you see the doctor disappears.
Oh, putain.
What? Okay, so I haven't seen that. I'm still just...
Yeah, you don't hear a thing. It's literally like... And it's so quick that you genuinely can't, you don't even see what happened.
What?
He's
the
gone.
3 of you haven't seen a thing. Yeah.
Do we have radio or is there
if you want to, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Doc?
He's gone.
Doc?
Doctor is gone.
What? Where did he go?
Something took him.
He's just gone. Swim as fast as you can.
You can patch in directly to the doctor's channel if you'd like.
Yep, I'll patch straight in.
Okay. You hear a wet crunch, sounds of ocean, and a little...
I go back to the normal comms and I just keep swimming forward.
Does it remind us of the creature that we heard before
I think
Mr. Stabby McStab decided to do his business?
I think the sound reminds you more of something being eaten.
Oh, good.
Wow, that was crazy. Sorry, I just had a moment of realization that one of you guys could have just died. Okay, anyway, moving on.
Oh God, literally he was the one who rolled the lowest. I hadn't even considered it could have been one of you two. Oh my God.
You cross next, I will follow after.
But yeah, so you've made it across. You've all made it in. You heading through into the observatory?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
You find your way up and into the Haven Glow Observatory. The whole, this whole area is flooded. So even the Haven Glow Observatory.
So we need our...
So actually you don't even need to decompress or anything like that. You're able to just open the doors.
So this is all, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and if it wasn't obvious already, I've taken my cane and kind of put it through the belt of the suit just to keep it readily available.
So you find yourself in this massive observation dome. There's a panoramic view of the abyss. There is a sort of a low hum, sort of almost like the vibrations. You can almost feel it in your suits. It is, as you look down and around, it's that same thing where it's kind of covered in all parts of moss and sort of algae and little creatures kind of scuttling in and around some of the circuits and things like that. One of the sort of positives, if you will, is that as you look down at some of these panels, I think the first thing that you notice is that the mechanics of this is largely analog and seems like it would be either steam operated or through protected cabling. So there's still some usage in the all of the little kind of mechanisms that are down here. You also see that there does appear to be a sort of tube almost that goes in to this room, like a hole in the wall. And in the center, it looks like there was probably some sort of pond and or garden area. Almost like that, where that tube is, you can see that there was water probably flowed out of it, sort of down and then into this area. And it does seem like that's the reason why this part of the station is flooded. Like almost like that sort of depressurized and filled the whole room, essentially. Sorry, last thing. I will say, make me a survey roll, please.
Okay. Survey, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. That's a 6.
Wow. Okay. You look down and I think probably instinctively start like looking at some of these dials. There's like these 2 big switches quite far apart, and as you kind of click it round, you can hear like a sort of almost like the sound of an engine starting, and then but you need to hold it, and it's always had that same thing of like turning a key in a car where it kind of like starts to power up or starts to sort of make a whirring noise, and then it kind of shuts down, and you have to like actively physically hold it there. But with a 6, you look kind of just out and beyond. You follow the line, kind of the cable. You know, just ever so often there is the sort of faintest pulse of like light through this cable, and I think perhaps if you'll let me, adjusting, you know, sort of looking out and maybe sort of softening your gaze, you know, taking a moment to sort of learn the sort of technique that you were shown earlier. You see that faint kind of pulse of energy, and you can see just across the way outside there is a cable sort of pulsing, but it seems to be swaying and disconnected.
Outside in the water?
Outside.
Do you tell us this?
Yeah, I say like, okay.
There's like a sort of, just to be very, very clear, it essentially seems to go, the cable seems to run down from the observatory. There's like a central point where the pulse is coming from, and then the other side, there is like a loose cable, essentially. And you think perhaps that, because you also remember there being, in the schematics, there was like a source of power.
Yeah, and so is that what I think is out there? That's the source of the power, and it's been disconnected
It
from
looks
this
like it's
part
been
of it?
disconnected, yeah.
Okay, so I say, okay, well, I mean, like this is, you know, there's an engine here, but there's some sort of power coming, but I can see out there, thanks to our friend Captain Nemo here, you know, the cable is it's disconnected, so I guess I gotta go out there and reconnect it.
Is the cable broken or unplugged? Is the cable damaged?
It's pretty hard to tell. I mean, it is still pulsing, which means that like, sort of
power's running through it.
Power's running through it.
Power's running through it, but it's hard to tell. I mean, if it's disconnected, it's an easy fix. If it's broken, I might be able to fix it still. I mean, I got tools and stuff that I can maybe find, you know, there's things around here that I can use, so.
I kind of move towards you.
Yeah?
Better go outside then.
Yeah, okay.
My concern is if these controls are analog, maybe she's better used here. If it is something where we simply need to plug it in, one of us can do that while she runs these controls.
Okay, so I'll explain. So this is how the system works. You got these 2 dials. They're kind of like engines, you know, like when you turn the key in the car. They both need to be turned at the same time as that pulse is running through. So we need 2 people to turn these 2 dials, and somebody needs to go out there and, you know, it's like a jumper cable almost.
I'll go outside, start like making my way towards this light, and I kind of radio and I say,
I'll tell you if this broke.
Sure, I'll come out there if it's needing my fixing.
Okay.
I'm going to radio in to Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams, whatever took the doctor is still out there. Please maybe consider keeping your knife close at hand.
Knife's out as well.
So you're just going out there on your own?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the 4 of you are staying in the heavy glow observatory.
Yeah, I'll take one of the ignitions and I'll say, hey Val, can you take the other one?
I can turn a dial, yeah, that I can do.
Pretty easy.
I'm
then
going to join Mr. Adams.
I kind of see you, and I stop, and I'm like, no. I got this.
While you are focused on that cable, you will not be able to see whatever is behind you. At least let me watch your back.
What if it takes you then?
I don't think that would really upset you. So.
Well, it upset the rest of us. We need you to get out of here. You know, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have even seen that thing out there. We need all of us.
I know.
As you keep saying.
If he wants to come, want to be brave.
Bravery has nothing to do with it. If you die out here, I'll have to come out and plug this in anyway. I'm old. I'm saving myself the trip.
Jeez.
Be safe, both of you.
I swim out and go.
Would you like to, tether? Like, when you dive down in pairs, you tethered together, so it's like, if someone gets, knocked adrift or something, it's like easy for the other person to...
as he kind of says that and saves him the trip, I kind of go up to you and I tether. And then...
It's like a big harness.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna, hold on. I'm gonna use move. Oh, no! Actually, fuck it, I'm gonna resist it, because this is a cool moment.
Mark that resistance off. Mark that resistance off.
Yeah,
Love
that's it. It's a 6, and you just, with like sheer force, I just move like a tornado, and I pull you with me. It's ridiculous.
Oh la la. You're like Master Blaster. This is fantastic.
I think you, from the outside, watch as these two figures occasionally being illuminated by this pulsing of this cable. The sort of glow of it catches these two figures. And I think the strangest thing is you see this strong, powerful kind of, swimmer, big kind of athletic strokes as you're pulling yourself through the water. And then behind, you can't help but feel like, when you look at Hercule, it's suddenly like this jilted, kind of stumbling man. Almost seems graceful in the water, like he's suddenly like in an element that he is like more attuned with. That he's no longer held down by any physical injury or scars. You make your way out.
Hooray for buoyancy.
Towards this cable. As you get there, you can see that there is a it's about this big. It's quite sort of heavy, and it takes you a little while to like find on the opposite wall like where you would sort of plug it in. And I think that what you can see is that there is essentially like a mechanism, like a lever on top, that would lock that in place. That appears to be broken.
Oh putain.
How's it looking out there?
Yeah. You're right. Something's broken.
And now we're going to enter a cinematic mode. Would you like to go high tide or low tide?
I think...
Low tide?
I'm going to go low tide.
Let's go low tide.
Yeah.
You're gonna go low tide?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So I don't know what's happening.
No.
So I'm just gonna make a... can I just double check scars for the two of you? You all perfectly...
Clear.
Okay.
Oh no.
And one of tide for me. That was a lot of dice. I don't think that was necessary.
That was a lot of dice being rolled right there.
As you're there doing, sort of scanning out, looking, you, I think, have a moment of like clocking and also realizing sort of what's happening. And there's the briefest second where you're no longer looking forward. And as your head kind of pivots back around and you look, you see a similar kind of taut-skinned face, but this time behind the where sort of the eyes would be, you can see these kind of glassy balls kind of staring out, huge, staring out at you, and underneath a kind of flap of skin, a mouth filled with teeth kind of crashes into you, and you slam against the side of the station, and you take 3 body marks.
For fuck's sake.
Does he take me with him? Because we're tethered together.
You also get pulled back.
Right. So...
And then it's...
Ow. Okay.
So at 3 body marks, I am like shattered.
I'm gonna go to swim towards Hercule, and I'm gonna pull him and take him back, essentially.
We need to get this cable reattached.
We need to fix the latch. So I kind of, using whatever energy I can to take him back to the...
you want to get him into the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone will have to be outside.
Yes, I know, and as he says that, I'm unlatching as well. So I'm just holding him.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a move roll.
I'm gonna drive twice.
Wow.
5.
5?
Yeah.
Mixed success. As you are going, you are swimming at a furious pace. And I think, like now, feeling that weight of like someone else's life in your arms, regardless of your opinions of that person, it's still a life. And I think there is an element where you are clutching on just that little bit too tight and you take another body mark. As you're holding him and grasping him, not letting him go, you feel these impossibly strong arms wrapped around you, and just there's a few more cracks in there as you drop unconscious and take a scar.
Gently, gently.
And what is everyone else doing in this cinematic mode?
The last thing we heard was that it was broken and it needed fixing.
I think you probably heard the slam, and then
okay,
like
Emily, you come on this switch. I'm gonna go out there.
No, are you sure?
Well, we have to get the power back on.
All right.
And I'm gonna look around and see if I can find something that I can maybe use as a replacement lever, and quick weld onto there to replace the lever. I'll use my jury rig.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm gonna go out there. We gotta fix it, right?
So use a move, and then are you two?
I mean, we're frantically trying to radio them, but I assume they're a little busy to tell us what's going on out there.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could also do a survey check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or something, just for what I might have come across in my research about this place of the observatory.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to take a 5.
Okay, take a 5. So I think with this, what you find is that there was one thing that kept on coming up with Atlantic was these kept on making reference to like holograms and things like that, but it needed a source of water. And I think as you're kind of looking around, connecting things, you notice there are these little kind of projectors that seem to be kind of built into the actual dome itself. And you think that whatever water source was in the center perhaps was what was projected onto. That there might be some either information or something like that is like a part of this area, should you be able to like get it powered back on.
Awesome, thanks. I'd relay that information.
Okay, so you're heading back in, you're heading out.
But if I'm...
That's the last thing I saw.
Yeah, if I'm seeing... So the way I kind of do it is I would have brought the Hercule in, probably attached him to either someone or something there.
Yeah, I mean you can attach him to like a metal railing or something on the inside. Yeah.
And seeing you go out, I would then quickly move back out again. To join, knife in hand.
So you, as this comes back in, you see Hercule kind of sort of somewhat limp, maybe sort of starting to come around now, sort of be tethered to this thing. The two of you head back out. I'm gonna go ahead and ask everyone to make me their gilded roll to see if you panic.
6.
5.
5.
Can we get drive back if we choose the gilded die on this?
Yeah,
great.
Success, 6.
6. So 5.
1.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you two burn through another hour of oxygen. And Hercule, you begin to panic. The panic condition allows you to do a little bit more in your turn. However, it also means that you automatically go first now. You are sort of outside of the high tide, low tide, and you will go first, and you have sort of some slightly different actions that you can do. So, every turn, essentially, every round, every time everyone goes, and you remain panicked, you burn through an hour of oxygen. What you can do is you can take an action. You can actually take 2 actions now because you're panicked, so you're acting sort of more quickly than perhaps you normally would. You can try to center yourself, which basically means you end your panic. You will pick a role essentially that associates something that you would try and do to calm yourself, whether it be look at a cherished object, whether it be, try and snap yourself out of it, whatever it is, you can justify any of the roles essentially. But if you fail, you'll burn through another hour of oxygen as your breathing gets heavier and heavier and heavier. Or you can choose to take a selfish action. A selfish action could be that you run, you hide, you use an ally as a sort of a shield, you shut a door behind you, perhaps locking an ally away. If you do that, you will automatically end the panicked condition. And you will also take a brain mark if you have any affection towards anyone that might be affected by your action. But that won't trigger a control roll or anything like that.
Awesome. The scar for body, does that actually mean I need to declare what this scar is and its effects?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So I took crushing damage and impact, right? So I'm going to say broken ribs.
Yeah.
Can broken ribs further affect oxygen?
I think so. I think that seems like a fair trade-off, yeah.
That sounds like fun.
So that's a good point, actually. How much oxygen has everyone got left after everything's happened? So 4 hours? 5 hours? 4 hours? 4 hours?
I had 4, but it's down to 3 now, isn't
but
it?
you just burnt through one then, yeah?
So I just burned through one as well, so that's 3.
3.
Plus whatever happens with the panic.
Yes, okay, so we're now back at the top of the round, which means our panicked individual will go first. So if you end this sort of turn while still panicked, you burn through another hour.
Right.
I think as you feel as that crushing weight happened, your eyes open again, and I think there is something about the helmet and almost like the suit itself pressing into you, further restricting your ability to breathe and further to move. And I think that the breath, I think you're doing all of the things that you told the doctor to do. You were breathing in for 3 seconds, out for 3 seconds, but you can hear the sort of gurgling, cracking, like almost like inside, you can hear your bones and lungs struggling with the strain of just breathing. And I think it makes it almost impossible for you to just calm yourself like you normally might do.
Right. So I think I know what happens to divers who panic in the black. And usually it ends up costing them and their partner. So I'm going to resist that urge as hard as I can. I will try to stay on radio. For me, fighting panic is about finding purpose. So I'll put myself to work. I will hold my breath. And keeping the helmet top so that the opening is facing down, so any air that is in there is trapped in there. I'm going to unclasp it, release it, and allow water to flood my suit.
Okay.
Which also means that I'm going to be watching what is happening outside, essentially trying to provide overwatch.
Okay.
For these two.
How about a survey roll, potentially? And I'll say that this can be a centering roll as well, because you've picked something that, you're trying to keep yourself busy and using that as a method to calm yourself down.
Over the radio, you hear, remember, your intuition, trust your intuition. And I will burn a drive.
Love it. So you get an extra die.
All right. Can I add my own drive?
Yeah. As long as it doesn't exceed 6 die in your...
Get all the die.
6.
Oh,
6.
God. I just saw 1, and I was like,
it's 1, 2, 1.
I had the opposite. I saw the 6, and I was like, oh, thank God.
I was just like,
Merci.
You feel as the water fills into your suit, that pressure on your chest just suddenly starts to alleviate, and it almost feels like you're sinking then into a bath. And you feel your heart rate start to slow. You know now that you have a sort of task of putting the helmet back on and probably having to seal it around your neck in order to stop the air from flowing out. But you have ended the panic condition. I will also allow either of these two to add an extra die as a part of you kind of keeping a watchful eye on them. You can sort of be giving them some radio messages, essentially. Okay, so the remaining 4 of us, are we high tide or low tide?
High, right?
High tide?
High. We got to get this done
Interesting,
quick.
'cause we have a conflict here, because I would also like to go high tide. So how about we go ahead and make a roll? I'll do it here.
Okay, ready?
Ready? That's a 6 for me. Okay. So, you move back out into the inky blackness. Who is ahead?
I am.
You're ahead. Okay.
Sure.
You move. Do you move? Are you moving kind of quickly?
Yeah. So, when I say I'm ahead, I mean like it's literally
Sure.
We're still together.
Sure. You, I think, can hear the distance sort of as if clicking. And the strange thing is it's like one side, another side, above.
Clever girl.
Okay. Can you mark 2 body marks, please, as you feel something puncture your suit? You feel blood start to leak out of the side as water is starting to fill up your suit.
Okay.
You can essentially do a similar thing where you compartmentalize. However, you are going to lose an hour of oxygen as your suit is punctured.
Okay, cool.
I don't even, again, it's so quick, I don't even think you see any of this happening.
I am focused. I'm trying to get to the connector as quickly as possible.
As I feel that, a surge of adrenaline hits me as I get a drive point back.
Love it.
At my nerve.
Great. That's that. Which of you would like to act first as you're trying to?
Should I go?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm going straight to the thing.
Are you fixing a new kind of? Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and was it sense or focus? Sorry.
You said sense to me.
Sense. Yeah.
Cool. Absolutely spending both drives on this. Because it is my gilded die as well. Oh, I'm gonna burn my resistance to reroll that because that was awful.
Okay.
It's really bad. I mean, there's a success with cost, but it was,
Yeah.
So you can only now roll your points you're willing to spend driving in.
That's right. Oh yeah. Still, I'm gonna do it. 5.
5?
It's not my gilded die, but it's a 5.
Okay. So 5, still a success with a
cost.
Yeah, with a cost. You act so fast in trying to get this sort of thing on, and you come in straight away to sort of jam this thing in, and as that happens, you the mechanism essentially for locking it in place, your hand is still on it as you ram it into the side of this thing, turning it on, and your hand gets crushed into the mechanism, and you have to literally pull it free, and you take a body scar.
Scar?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay.
So, as this happens, you see it's connected, you turn, you hear this sound, it's almost like a thunderous noise, as from the Haven Glow Observatory and the surrounding buildings, engines and machines start whirring and clanking into place, as slowly, one by one, buildings surrounding Rán-Beor suddenly light up, brilliantly casting light across this otherwise pitch black and strange station. Injured, very injured. You see now this creature. Now there is a one above you. That sort of sheet of skin seems to have disappeared. There is no sheet of skin on this one. As you can see, these giant bulbous fish-like eyes kind of turning down to look towards you. And that is where we're going to end this episode of Thresher. Oh, wow. That was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to my incredible players.
There's so much.
We are going to go and do it. Well, I think we should probably do a little cool down after that. What do you think? What do you think? If we do a little cool down, I think that'd be nice.
My God.
Thank you all so much for watching this episode. Thank you to my cast. Thank you to the crew. You've all been absolutely incredible. And I'm just checking my notes. It says here, is it Thursday yet?